Welcome, everybody, to the Authentic Self Show on the Nacho's Cafe podcast, where you will hear more than one perspective on facing the world authentically. What are you bringing to the environment you surround yourself in? Are you aware of the energies that are being brought to your circle of well being? In today's episode on the Authentic Self Show, we continue part 2 on the topic of energy awareness.
Whoever has it, like I hope they are holding on to it. I hope they kept it because like that's going to be worth something someday. Because there's so much of my work in there that is signed. So it's not as if like somebody can be like, oh, this is an original Amari Leanna Watson. Like this is original work of hers, and not having a way to back it up because it's my signature. They can match that signature real quick. Like that'll actually transpire to a point in my life because like I said, I know in everything that is in me that I'm meant to be on a platform where I affect people like worldwide.
Masses.
When I get there, when I'm speaking to the masses and whoever has that, like it's either going to be one or two things. Whoever has it and know they're holding on to it, it's going to change their life because I will own up to everything in there. I'm like, yes, that is it. Hold on to it, sell it for what you can because you get that. Like you get that. That is unpublished shit. That is some raw material right there before I was a signed author, all that shit. Like you hold on to that. Or they're going to know that they was the one that had that notebook and got rid of it and just... It's like I hope, and that's like I love thinking about just the potential of my life because things like that. It's like I hope that when I'm telling this story or whoever hears this, like when we are speaking to the masses, not just me, when we are speaking to the masses, I'm putting that out there because I know there are people who listen. And I know they're listening and they know people that need to hear us. And I know there are parents that are listening who feel that their kids are going through stuff. Like I know we are speaking to the masses. Like I already know it. Even though we don't know those masses yet, I know we are speaking. Like I like that. I want to meet that person, and I want to be like. I hope you sat and read all of that. I hope you were able to feel everything that I was feeling and all of that because I feel like for me, I really shy away from it when I feel like I'm in a good place in my life, and I usually feel like that when I'm in a relationship. Like I realize how much of an introvert I am and how more centered and focused I become when I'm by myself. And it's always the struggle in the beginning, but once I get into it, the longer it becomes, and then I get stuck in a rut. Like I don't want to change from this. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's when I do some of my best work. I feel like that's when I have the time to focus on it because I get so blind being in a relationship, and I get so blind because every relationship that I've ever been in has always been one-sided. I've always been the provider in the relationship, the dominating factor, whether it be dating trans women or guys. Like I've always been that dominating factor in providing. So I think with taking this time and actually just like exploring and cleaning up so much in me and getting back to where I was so I can be better than that at some point, I really feel like I need to focus on what I want to focus on. And it was crazy because in just all the midst of arguing and just over the last couple of days, it was like just pretty much putting in my face like, I'm 32. Like I've had time to live. I should know where I'm at. I should have it figured out. And it made me really sit here and like, I'm 32 and I'm miserable. So many aspects of my life. I'm miserable with not only like not having, but allowing myself to accept the bare minimum. And like I need to change that. And I realize like in changing that, it comes with like I said earlier, stop catching what's coming into my fountain and distribute it to other people's before it starts replenishing my own well, because I spread myself thin doing for other people so much. And all I keep saying in the back of my head is, if I was my only focus, my only priority, I would have so much more. I would be so much further. I would obtain so many more things. Like I would have the ability to travel freely and not have to worry about the cost of traveling, pretty much taking money from food or money from rent or other bills, like knowing I not only have the freedom to spend, but I can spend while saving. Like I can build wealth in not only like monetary value, but in just the things I invest myself in, the things I spend my time in. Like I can be of service to areas in my community and build just wealth within myself that way. And that's how I'd build my platform, and that's how I'll get to where I want to be. Because like I said, this is all like in my mind. This is all on that. Like we're gonna make it to the masses. Like
Yes, we are.
we are.
We already are. You know, one of the things that it's amazing about just me looking at the analytics of this of our podcast, I get to see where it's being played at. And I've seen it overseas, you know, France, China, Spain, Italy. There's places that Australia, I know I have a friend out there too, but the fact that it's reaching throughout the world, it's amazing. Like my whole purpose of even doing the podcast for myself was like, I don't care if it's just one person listening, and they're not somewhere in this world, they need to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. It's not about how many listens I got. It's like, who is touching is meant to touch that person, you know. And
Yeah.
even if they don't even comment, I know how it is. Sometimes like I don't want to say nothing, you know, but that's
Yeah.
okay as long as it touches.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Touch.
And I do want to say, like, in knowing that, I want to say, like, if anybody who listens to us, if you ever, I know when we share just the link for it, it has all of our links to our own personal social media on there. Please, like, if you want to reach out and ask us to talk about anything, whether it be to us as individuals or especially me specifically, for people who are going through those types of struggles and who have family members who are going through those types of struggles, please reach out to me. I try to be as open and as like present to other people as I can be. So just I am here. I am here. I am here.
Same here. Like I feel like, you know, I'm an open book, and I do feel I've been receiving a lot of messages on both my Instagrams in regards to just content that I have on there. But you know, also like if anything resonates with you, if anything, you know, if anything comes up for you that you feel unclear about, know that even though we might have different lives and different journeys, we all in one way or another go through some of the same challenges. And at the end of the day, it's understanding how to come out of them, right? And it's also to me like very important. Like I always like to share, like I'm a student of life. Like I'm constantly learning. So by you sharing, by you asking questions, there's a possibility that I might also be learning from you. And you know, when we're willing to be vulnerable and say, hey, this is kind of where I'm at. Do you have any idea or what's going on with this? Maybe I might not have the answer, but maybe, you know, someone else, you know, might have this answer, or I might be able to get that answer for you. Or we might be able to create a dialogue in which we come into like, oh, wow, like make that connection, right? Like just by being vulnerable and saying, this is where I'm at, there's a possibility that a friendship might come out of it. There's a possibility that a deeper connection might come out in the sense that you're growing from what is being shared, and I myself as well, by you asking that question. So like really, really, like, you know, as private as, you know, you want to, anything that comes up, like no, like to me, I understand shame. Like I grew up around shame. Like I grew up Jehovah's Witness, for God's sake. Like, you know, like shame. This is bad. And then, you know, coming out, you come out into a completely different world. And then even within our own communities, right? Because in reality, we're all healing. You know, we're all healing. So like one thing I've learned, when someone is shaming me, it's like, okay, honey, like, no, Yeah. I see you. I even see you here. You know what I mean? So even though you might not feel comfortable to openly talk about stuff because you're too embarrassed or because you're still kind of like in the middle of that shame, know that there's people that are like openly working on their fucking shame issues, and trust me, it's an ongoing thing. It's probably never going to end, because again, our conditioning, our programming shows up to test us so we could grow, so we could evolve, so we could ask for help. So we could be say, hey, you know what? I feel like I'm this part in my life. Can you see the blind spots? Is there any blind spots that you see here? And vice versa, right? So feel free to ask questions and to create a dialogue in regards to what's being shared on here.
Yeah. I want to piggyback on the shame part too. Like, all of us have felt that moment of shame because of where we are presently in our lives. Like, one of the things that Amari said, being 32, I encourage all of us, listeners, and even ourselves, that age does not have a aha moment. It's really where you are in your life. Just because you're 40 years old does not mean you're not going to get it, because some people get it. They have their aha moment. Whether they get found out or publish that book and they're 40 years old, it does not matter. Age is nothing but a number. So, like, I mean, I'm 35, and it's like I'm finally walking into my own, and it's happening, and it will happen for me, but there is no age of being found or think you're going to get it. Oh, I'm 25, I got to get it. No, you're going to get it, period. And don't rush the process, because you will always miss something. Even when you're going on a very great momentum, natural flow, there are some things that we're going to miss because we're human beings and we're easily distracted sometimes. And sometimes if we're so focused and getting all the distractions out, then you're going to gain it. But sometimes we also gain the answer, but don't know the question. And so it's called living. We have to live our lives day to day through our eyes, through loving that one who looks in the mirror at us, loving that reflection. That's where it all starts. I don't care what anybody thinks and says. Yes, those close to me in my circle, I do care about what they say. However, I have to also recognize, what is that person in the mirror saying to me?
Yeah.
When was the last time that person in the mirror said, I love me? When was the last time I told my reflection, I love them? It's that self-care, it's that awareness. There is no time limit. Sometimes I'm gonna give myself a month to complete this, and so that month comes and you didn't complete it. Is that bad? Are you less a person? No, it just happens. Maybe you needed to gain a lesson during that time that you thought and expected you were going to learn this and complete this, but you didn't. It's all right. It's okay. And I think we have to remind ourselves that it's okay. No, it's not okay just to sit there and not do nothing, but it's okay to have those Sundays to yourselves, have those moments to listen to others, have those moments where you observe. Just from one of the things that I do for myself for awareness is just like what you said, Amari, is writing. I free write, and I go outside to write because I feel at one when I hear the wind. I hear words, and that's how I'm able to like connect with my spirit, and just really hear the words just coming to me, and then I'm easily to free write because that's how I check my energy. And I've made so many discoveries till now, realizing just that just because I'm 35 does not mean I need to be where I think I should be, or where other people will think you should be. This is my life.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying every moment. I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in lessons. I believe in stepping blocks that help you to get to where you are going and where you are now. Because if those didn't happen, you wouldn't be aware of who you are today and the steps you've progressed into. And I love, 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 love life. I love it. I love the people I interact with. I just love it. I love us so much, and side note, if I ever feel like I'm pushing for us to get together, it's because I need y'all. Okay. It's like I need my hit. Okay. I'm like, no, come on. I need my hit. Like I was like, huh? I need it.
Get it together, Hector. I need our hit.
I need y'all. Where you at?
Reschedule again.
I know. It's like I need my hit. Come on, where do I go? What corner you at? Where? So it's like I am high.
WT app.
Yes. It's an energy check, and I really, genuine listeners and viewers, I hope you can tell we have such a strong love, and we have not even met each other physically yet.
Yeah.
So it's just
Not been
amazing
in
what we
the
have.
same room at all, face to face.
Right. And I love that. And I've had those experiences with others too that I've even had on my previous show, where it's like when you hear the conversation, it's like y'all sound like y'all don't forget what we do, but we never shared a physical moment with each other. It's just and that's important to know too. Just because someone's not physically there does not decipher the relationship you guys have.
Yes.
You can have
so
that.
Stop suffering. Stop suffering for love, people. Love should not make you suffer.
Right.
Love should set you fucking free.
Yes.
If you're suffering in love, that is not love. Love, like literally, like love is grace. Love is compassion. Love is understanding. It's not enabling. Like there's a difference, right? But like love should not separate you from yourself.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
We gotta learn to love from a space of freedom, from a space of interdependence versus codependence.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have, like, if you have a good best friend, you know what I mean? Like like learn to understand each other's languages, whether it's
you said it,
or friendship.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, like I'm the type of person like I love you both. Like I just love you like I've known you forever, and that's authentic. That's real for me. You know what I mean? I had a friend that was here that he had met. He's a Gemini, so I was like, all right, you're a Gemini.
Hey, welcome.
So you're gonna be here. Like I just like you learn to understand the people that you like. If I have a soulful connection with someone, like, all right, what's your sign? What's your like? We connect. I'm like, all right. He was supposed to be here on Saturday. He didn't get here till Tuesday. But like, I was like, all right, like he's a Gemini. I love him. Like I am excited to share my
telling on us. I'm just kidding.
What's that?
Stop telling on us. Shut up. I'm just kidding.
Telling on us.
I'm like, man, I'll show up. Okay.
So he got here, and then like I'm very much like, be willing to grow and stretch yourself to be able to create real intimacy with the people that you cherish and you love, right? Like he's like, I'm gonna stop by. I'm on a road trip. I'm gonna be there from Tuesday through Thursday. He left Thursday, and I had a whole bunch of shit that I had to do. But it kind of let me, my intention has been to attract more meaningful, deep relationships, and he wanted to come visit, and I was like, hell yeah, and. Yeah, did it change my entire week? I started a new job this week, but because I wasn't stressed about the fact that I had to be perfect, everything turned out perfect, and I had such an amazing time with him here. And he's on his way to Oregon, and he's having a great time, and we got to know each other, and I followed what my heart was telling me to do, versus the crazy chattery mind that you have to do this and do this. It's like, yeah, I know you have to do all this. Do it. What does that mean? Why would you have to prevent yourself from actually spending time with someone that is the universe is putting in front of you to spend time with? Right. So again, own your energy. Know that you are the energy that walks into a room. You are the energy that shows up in your life. If you are feeling if you're experiencing toxicity from someone else, take a pause. Notice that is, if there is something toxic about you that is pulling up, be real with yourself.
Right.
Crush it there.
Right.
Because we're mirrors. If you're seeing someone else as toxic, where's the mirror here? Like I was in a relationship with a person that I love very much, because once Hector loves, he will always love. However, because I love myself more, I finally realized when I called him a narcissist, I was like, wait a minute. If I had the nerve to call him a narcissist, it's because I've too become a narcissist. And it's not because of him that I became a narcissist. Mm-hmm. It's because that I allowed myself to embrace an energy that was not of value to my soul, to my grace, to my love. And now I am reacting in the same way and meeting this individual where he's at, and I'm being the narcissist, and I'm seeing him as a narcissist. So guess what? I'm stepping away because I don't like that about myself. Namaste, namaste, go live your life, go heal yourself, go do your work. I have to let go of the fear that you might hurt yourself. I have to let go of the fear that you might try to do something because that's not real. And I got to focus on myself and trust the bigger picture. The fact that you're sitting in your shit, the fact that you have to be in the middle of a pandemic by yourself, the fact that you're on the other side of the fucking world. And I know that I love you so fucking much that God, the universe, whatever's taking care of you right now is making you do your motherfucking work. Because, honey, I ain't going to do it for you. I ain't going to feel good for you. You got to do it for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Observe versus absorb.
Yes.
You said that, and I was like, writing that down. You know, I'm making a lot of shirts for us, okay? I got observe versus
observe.
Trying, you're standing at the finish line. I got some shirts. That's okay. Authentic self shirt. Here's our merchandise. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm like, wow.
For real.
Oh my God. Relationships are I don't believe they should be that hard as what's portrayed so much in media. When like all of us have said, you know, you must love yourself more. Loving someone, but it's not wrong to love yourself more because that means you're caring about yourself. And if you care about yourself, you care about them, period. You know, so it's like if you're with someone who's not encouraging the enhancement of yourself, then you should question that relationship because we're both learning. We're two individuals or however many in this relationship that are growing. Well, number one, what's your foundation? And how is that foundation helping you grow? And if you're not with someone who is your match and you're matching each other's energy and encouraging, or I feel like you should be with your fan, but not in a way where it's like I'm obsessed, because there's a difference. Okay, obsession is one thing, appreciation is another. Okay, so don't get why are you so obsessed with me? Yeah, there's a real thing. Okay,
why are you so obsessed with me?
Okay.
Chill, okay, I gotta breathe. Gosh,
it's a real thing.
Chips,
okay.
Look out.
But it's like if we're like what we're doing, this also exists in a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
We can give and receive. There's a difference. Like I feel like maybe even as us, but even for myself, maybe I have mixed receiving into taking. Like if I receive something, is that me taking from them? No, they're two complete things. You know, you have your takers, but there's nothing wrong with receiving. And I feel like for myself, that's a big challenge for myself to receive what I'm giving because it's so foreign. I'm not used to it. I'm used to people taking. You know, it's like, wait, you're giving me something. Should I take it? No, just receive it.
Yeah.
Say thank you. Don't try to find something wrong with what's being given to you. Yeah. You know, it's like, or
are you sure? Like it's being given to you, you know,
right. Freely. You know, like we're used to a cost to everything, right? This is the world we live in. Like, well, that costs something. Ain't nothing free in this life. Yes, there is some things are free. Sometimes the best things, you know, but because we're conditioned to think that it costs something out of us, it costed you a life experience. Don't you think that paid for it already? So receive it.
Yeah.
You know, so I really feel like, you know, I've been in those situations where it's like, it's not working. And I love you, but I love me more. And this ain't helping me. And yes, it sounds very selfish, but I gotta be selfish sometimes. If
Yeah.
you are losing what you're working on within yourself when you're with somebody, you need to second guess that, because it needs to be continuous and it grows
Yes.
and it gets more and enhances in a relationship. And just like what we're doing, it still happens in another level in a romantic way. And I truly believe that because I found that. So I can only speak on it's foreign to me because I'm not used to it, but I'm still learning to receive
Yeah.
versus like stop trying to find something wrong and just receiving, you know. But
Let the love in. Let the love.
You
It's
know, I
okay
feel
to
like
receive love. It's okay to receive love, and it's okay to say not today.
right. Oh, I
It's
should have
okay.
wore that shirt. I should have worn that shirt. Not today, Satan.
Not today. Say,
Bianca's already.
I'm straight up. I always tell people, look, there's a reason why I practice yoga. I have Jesus, I have Christ on one side, and I have Lucy on the other. All right, like I call it duality. Like whatever you want for,
I
like
love that.
however you show up, that's what you're going to get. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like this doesn't mean that I'm Christian. This doesn't mean it. This is just
Right.
these are that I work with. You know what I mean? So again, you want the bag of salt? I'll give you the bag of salt. You want the bag of sugar, honey? I will fucking sprinkle that shit all over the place.
Seriously. Is there anything else we would like to share about energy? Of course I have things written, but I feel like we've kind of answered them. I'm that natural flow guy. I'm like, let's go back and talk about
You got
it.
that flow.
Why you laughing at me? No, I was kidding.
I'm laughing at you.
no, there's nothing else I want to add to energy. I just think like it's like I said at the start of this, it's crazy how everything that we do, everything that we come on here to talk about topic wise lines up with what is currently going on. So
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Thinking about this in energy and then going into relationships, it's like it really just now that's my focus right now, because I need to figure out my own energy, where it stands, how to cleanse that, and then the balance of this relationship, and how to reclaim my own space and find those parts of myself while in this relationship, because it's not just something that's happening because of fights over the last few months. This has been the last 3 years of my life. So it's been something that I've experienced a good portion of life with. So it's going to be a process from that, but then also realizing like having this experience and walking away from it now, what do I want from future relationship, and not even necessarily just in romantic relationships, just in the relationships that I want with people that I allow to occupy my space.
yes.
And that's one thing that I feel like I really have just been neglected. So it's crazy that we're going into relationships, because like I feel like ultimately this has just been a lived experience for me, and it has given me the opportunity to grow on and explore my attraction to women, and now having the freedom when I feel like I'm ready to occupy that like kind of playing field, like kind of the game, like put myself out there again, then I know more of what I want, but then I also know that everything is going to be a brand new experience, because the past 3 years has essentially been my only experience with dating another woman, and it's been kind of sheltered just because there have been just so many of my own reservations about it within myself, and just I think that comes from kind of how you said, Nacho, with the not feeling comfortable in the receiving, because for me the receiving of love, it's always been associated with a cost.
Right.
So
what do I have to? Yeah.
exactly, like I'm used to receiving love, but I'm used to it costing me something. Like I'm used to receiving love, but I have to be the sole provider. I'm used to receiving love, or I have to act a certain way. I'm used to receiving love, or I have to make a certain amount to afford a certain lifestyle. Like, so I've never known someone to be like, I just want to give you love. And so now having that in this relationship, like I still feel like it came at a cost, but in the beginning, and one thing like that is making this just hard for me is because like I feel like in the beginning it came from that genuine place, like when I had nothing, when I had a dark place. So started off as like I just want to give you love, like you in and of yourself are good enough to be loved. And so it's funny how it can just progress and change. And like I said, it's the culmination of 3 years of good and bad ups and downs and just new lived experiences with someone. So moving on from that and knowing that everything after that is going to be a new experience.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily frightening, but it kind of makes me want to just step back, because it immediately sends me into this mindset of what I have to bring to the table isn't enough. I myself at this point isn't enough. I need to get back to a certain place. And it's like, that comes with just recognizing my energy and doing more of what I need to do to clarify that. That's why I was like, I need to get back into my writing. Like I need to just, after listening to you, getting a routine like of meditation and just routine of healthy self-love habits for me, because I feel like that's one thing that I did give up a lot of is just me time and being alone. And yeah, I love spending time with this person. I could spend like all day with this person, but I still feel like I I myself as a person, like I have to be able to spend time with me. Like I have to be able to spend time with me regularly.
Yeah.
Like I need to be able to take myself to do things that I love to do with me.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that was one thing that I was really struggling to receive and having to fight for over the years. And I don't want to have to do again. So I'm trying to look at this optimistically and like, I'm getting that me time. Like me and myself, we've been out of whack for a really long time. So we need to start loving each other the right way again. And it's crazy because like going into relationships, like just being open to it, like I just changed. It's like, it's kind of like just, it's that mental realization that like once you accept it mentally, like the universe like makes a shift kind of feeling, because like I've accepted the change, I know what's happening, and then just sitting here thinking like I know who I am now because of it. I know how my personality has changed because of it. I know like just like I'm comfortable now more so than ever in spaces with women, like not even just in a romantic setting, just like in friendship roles. Like whereas before I was predominantly around guys just because it was more of like the romantic feeling, and it was always like that need of feeling I need to have someone or to feel whole or feel complete, or like friends weren't enough. So now it's just like I've realized that a lot of my friends now are women, be them cis or trans, like that I hang out with regularly. And I like that. But then I also realized that there are areas in my life where I unintentionally catch myself flirting. Like if I go to the dispensary and like I'll get compliments, and it's just like we having conversation, because like you see a person long enough, like you build a relationship with them, like you kind of interact. So I see that in my conversation, and then I looked at my phone and I got a message from a coworker, like an old coworker, and she was like, hey, do you and like if you're not doing anything, do you and the lady want to hang like your lady want to hang out tonight and have a few drinks? And I'm like, this comes not even like an hour after me clearing out everything, like clearing out pictures, clearing out my relationship, like distancing myself, blocking everything. Like I still have to finish moving stuff from the back of the house to my house, my room, and like vice versa. So we have that clear separation, but it's just like it's funny how the universe is showing me like, okay, you've accepted it, you're moving away from it, and not even like in a romantic aspect, because like it's an old coworker who we went out and had drinks before, and she ended up like expressing that she was attracted to me, and it was before I was actually like, okay, I'm into women, kind of feels like I didn't know how to receive it. And so now it's just like she wants to hang out for drinks, and in my mind I'm just like, I could really go out and hang, like I could really go out and have a beer right now, and I want to be like, yeah, true, but then I'm immediately like, well, if I say that, I have to explain why it would just be me, and I don't want to open that door, because this is like I'm realizing like in this moment the energy that I need to envelop is the energy of my friends versus the energy of someone who wants more than a friendship.
Yeah.
So
Because you'd be going back into what you're leading right now, right?
Exactly.
Right. So it's like, yeah, it's just being real, right? Like that's super awesome that you see that.
It takes an acknowledgement and recognition to know that, because it's so easy, because it's almost like the next thing to do, but we're a sponge. So if you were to get into that, you're going to get out of it, and a person would be a rebound, or if anything, even though I've said it many times to my friends, and even though we try not to treat someone like a rebound, it happens because that healing moment has passed, and now that person's going to get hurt, because like, well, I'm done. Some people have stayed in their rebounds, and that's their business, but it's that's but I I encourage date yourself. I encourage spend that time with yourself. I encourage, I'm gonna take myself to dinner. Where you going? Wait, girl, you dressed up cute. Where you going? Taking myself on a date. Try it.
and see, and that's one thing that I know, especially right now, I could not do, just because when it comes to my experience, since it's so limited, anyone who would be a rebound would be more than just a rebound. They would be a lot of first experiences. So I don't want to try and do that and unintentionally affect them in a way more than it should have been, because like that's how you said, like some people not end up staying in the rebound ends up like not understanding the situation. And I know that I couldn't put anybody through that right now, for the simple fact of it would be such a new experience to me that it would be really meaningful. Like regardless, it would be extremely meaningful, because it wouldn't be just a wham bam thank you ma'am. It would be like a lot of intimacy tied up in that experience.
Yeah.
All these energies going everywhere.
Right? Myth or fact? Go ahead.
And it's not about suppressing those energies. Like to me, like when I date someone, and then like, I break up.
That face.
Okay, I'm polyamorous, so it just kind of like it's different. You know what I mean? Like I date people who are polyamorous as well. You know what I mean? And have that frame of mind. But to me, like there's still a certain level of emotion that's invested there. So it's like, it's almost like, that like whole like that connection that you build in coming together. It's almost, you have to honor that and cut those cords. Like, all right, this served me, this didn't. I love you. I forgive myself. I forgive you. I love you. I bless your journey. I bless your life. let me be with myself for a few days. You know what I mean? And yeah, which like I like to encourage that. And a lot of people say, well, you're polyamorous and you have like all this sexual freedom. I'm like, well, I do because I do myself. You know what I mean? But even in that situation, to me, it's like, all right, like if I'm really connecting, if I'm dating someone with the potential to create something more than just, you know, a dating situation, and it didn't work out, well, yeah, I want to give myself that time to cut those cords that are no longer serving me and that person, so we could continue to either nourish what is serving us together or take our own paths. It's like, okay, it's time to completely move on. We just didn't blend at all.
I love that.
Yeah, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just we got to move on and like accept the reality of it without, again, love. You're not supposed to like. Love is not about suffering.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah. So if you're suffering, it's like, how can we stop suffering? And if that means that we need to separate and break up and either be friends or take our own individual journeys because we loved each other, we hold that love and know that everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I you know, that's therapeutic. Well, before we wrap it up, I know we talked about this before, but just for people to hear our perspectives, fact or myth, you are what you attract.
I'm just gonna say, when I am feeling miserable, everything that I am attracting in my life is miserable. When I step out of that, like when I say, you know what, it doesn't matter how miserable I feel right now, I'm not willing to be miserable, you know, and I do what I need to do I practice what I need to practice to step out of that, you know, life becomes beautiful and amazing and I'm not miserable. But when I'm miserable, I see everyone else as miserable, you know, but when I'm not miserable and I'm in my happiness, that's always there, and I come across someone that's miserable, I don't take it on and I don't feel sorry for them, but I feel compassion because it's like, oh, girl, I don't even have to say anything. Like, I ain't gonna be miserable for you because you're already miserable. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna love you from back here. Like, okay, when you feel better, you'll come around. But you know, yeah, totally, yeah. For me, at least.
What I'm gonna say,
I love
I
it.
don't want to say like I don't want to say myth because I feel like I don't necessarily attract what I am, but I attract what I need, even if it's what I need in that moment in time. Like, I may not always realize what the need is. I may not always realize if it's like an extended positive experience or just a temporary lesson. And I realize that I attract what I need, and what's needed will always stay. And what wasn't meant to be around at some point in time, it will fall off either by my own doing, by their, like something will happen, some type of like endpoint will come. Because I think that's for me, like that's one reason why relationships have always been so tough, is because I know that in a relationship, it's either going to end or it's going to continue on. Like, this is going to be my person for the rest of my life, or I'm going to end this. And it's like, it's easier to not focus on that kind of mentality when it comes to friendships, because friendships, it's like, even if I have to put that friendship on a shelf for a while,
Right.
it's like I can still come back to it. It's still there. It's still a need. It's just not a need at this present time. Like, it doesn't have to be my main type. But relationships, it's like I can't really put that relationship on the shelf the same kind of way, because ultimately I'm holding on to baggage that I either need to grow from, or I need to see how it's benefiting me. Because if I'm holding on to something I need to grow from, then I need to move on from that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I attract what I need, because even when I'm in a low place or a dark place in my life, I attract interactions with my friends, and it's always the right circle of friends at the right time to let me know what I need. Like, even just earlier, getting text messages from volleyball group just to make sure I'm still on the team, and it like that picks up that starts up on Monday. It's like something new that I needed in my life right now, because
Almost
that's
like a
one thing.
manifest too.
Exactly, that's one thing that's been lacking.
Mm-hmm.
It is just that time with myself, and one of the biggest areas of time with myself is at volleyball. Like, that's something that I love, and I always see just how my energy is impacted when I don't have that around. So it was just like, yeah, I definitely need that. Like, so I feel like I attract what I need. So I don't necessarily attract what I am, I attract what I need. And it just takes me to actually figure out what that need is. Why did this come into my life for this reason?
Yeah. I love us that we're so different but so alike. Yeah, I love that. I freaking love that.
Like, wow, I love that.
It's like I like, okay. She said I'm gonna change it. Okay.
Makes no sense. Makes sense.
For me, I'm not gonna use the excuse because I'm a Gemini, because there are Geminis who are, there's twins. So, whatever way I'm feeling, sometimes that's what I attract. Like, I have such a variety of individuals in my life that are so different from the next, whether it was a moment in my life where I attracted them, our friendship or whatnot. It's like I attracted them because of, I can go to them to talk about this, and this one I can go to them to talk about this. I can go, for me, even like what we have here, it keeps my mind, I'm always hungry. I'm hungry for more wisdom, more experiences to learn. I'm always hungry. So being that matter factor, like you are what you attract, I like what you say, you are what you attract what you need. And in those moments, because I feel like if I'm not aware of my energy, I can create some damage that can come towards me. Like an accident. And like, I really, really, truly believe, like, one of my last accidents is I was so my mind was in, it was weird. Like, I felt like I was just off. And then sometimes if you're not aware, you're a magnet sometimes to certain things, like Hector, with that one experience you had with the bottle or the can that exploded, like your energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like, that's how I was like, I completely believe that, because
and the Harry last for today's over.
I don't need it 2 weeks. There it is. You're welcome. But, I would, because an accident happened to me. An accident had happened. Boom, 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 boom. Near me, and after that, I was just like, I was not in the right headspace to be driving. Number one, although I didn't cause it, it happened to me around me, but it was just like something inside me. I was like, "Who? I gotta check myself." Like, I felt like, not necessarily you are what you attract, but being aware of your energy at that moment in time. Maybe you shouldn't be around others. Just like, like you were saying, Hector, like, you try to stay away when your energy is like on a negative moment, and it's so good that you're aware of it. You could probably create a negative reaction with somebody who's coming up to meet you, or like, like, oh, he was funky. Like, Will's never funky. Hector's never funky. What are you talking about? And it's like, well, you didn't meet him on that day. Like, oh, Tuesdays. Oh, you don't want to meet him on Tuesdays.
I just straight up say, I'm like, I'm funky right now.
And some people don't understand.
Leave me alone.
That's okay. Yeah. And with me, like, I've grown to be aware as well, where it's like, I need to be alone. I don't need to be around anybody. Number one, I'm around people all day long, and I heard from you. I know I will call you, but I'd rather call you when I'm present. I don't want to call calling you. I don't like to just, I heard from you in a while. And I like, you will hear from me, but rather you deserve me to be present talking to you, not just someone you can talk to on the phone. Like, yeah, okay, all right, okay, well, it's good talking to you, bye. No, I am that friend that wants to be present when I'm talking on the phone. Like, like, I don't want to say like, attract, but like, I think it comes being aware of where I'm at. Where am I present or not? Because if I'm not present, like you said, I kind of want to like separate myself from anybody. So I want to be aware of my
Yeah.
energy. You know, yeah, I can check what I need to as well. I really can't like manifesting it. Like sometimes I'll be like thinking about somebody in a certain moment, and I manifest and like kid you not, like I was thinking about my roommate, like, oh my god, I'm be doing karaoke, da da da. I'm doing oot reads. Why I go to this place, go pick up some food. Someone calls me by my name, William. I'm like, and it was him. So it's like sometimes like you can manifest people too into your life. I truly believe that because that's happened when I was back in high school. I was like, I wish I could see that friend from middle school, and they show up in the library where I'm at. So it's like it's crazy. Like you can manifest these things. Like this is how strong our energy is. So it's so important to be aware of your energy because A, it can create some damage. B, it can create a blessing. Or C, it can create a new connection or an old connection that needs to be rekindled. To be like, I need to see that person. It's like, and also so you can be aware of what you're capable of when you are aware of your energy.
Yes.
I feel like we forget what we can do with that energy. Like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
create some damage, but you also can create some goodness,
We're truly magical. I think every
Yes.
single one of us has the ability to have that magic and share that magic. And the moment you have to set these salty boundaries with people, like
True.
To me, it's like, why did I even have to get there? Because yeah, I'm having to do this, but this is taking away from my magic, and I'm very careful. I'm very, very careful about that now, especially when it comes down. And I think a lot of gay guys don't realize that, or queer LGBTQ people, individuals, we get so caught up in our physical emotion that we have to realize that we're constantly healing, right? We're healing. Most members of the LGBTQ community, we're healing from inflicted shame from the past. So this could take years, it could take generations, and as we become more self-aware, we're like, whoa, I could heal this aspect of my life, and we're gonna cross paths romantically, sexually, emotionally with individuals that are going to fulfill certain aspects of our lives. But as Medea said,
come on,
honey, there's certain relationships that come into your life and they're supposed to be seasonal.
Right. Yes.
So embrace the beauty of the spring of that relationship, and look at what it served, and let each other go when you have to let each other go. And also there's going to be relationships that are going to be a lifetime, whether it's friendship, whether it's romance, and embrace that, but learn to co-create versus codependent. The moment I am giving and just like, to me as an empath, like this is like double-edged for me, right? So I tend to be the individual that would end up in a relationship where I have the individual who is more, let's say, more stable financially, or is ahead in life financially more than I am. So I would fall into this place where it's like, okay, well, he's got the money, yet, like, wait a minute here, dude. You don't realize that I got the motherfucking energy. That energy that you come home to at the end of the day and makes you feel good, not only in bed, but has a meal for you, has this for you, that makes sure that you have your fucking shit together before you walk out the door. And not only that, make sure that he's got his own shit together before he walks out the door. So learn to see what, like, literally sit down and be real with each other. Like, these are my gifts and these are my talents that I bring into the relationship. This is my language. This is my language. How can I learn from your language so I could maybe not necessarily change, but I could learn something new and make it a part?
Yes.
How can you learn about me so you could also practice this with me, and we can help each other grow and evolve, versus codependent, right? Because, even though, Patrick doesn't like to do chores, and it's Jason's ability to just get them done. Well, you know what, Patrick, you two have to show up once in a while.
Right.
Like it's an equal. We have to create equality within our relationships.
Yes.
Equality, like it's not about who brings more. No. This is what this is the beauty of who you are. This is the beauty of who I am. It's like, oh wait, maybe I don't really have this and you have this.
Right.
Oh, cool. Because we're sitting down to actually talk about this and write it down and create a vision board for a relationship. Now I'm more aware of what your strengths are, which
Oh my God. I'm gonna make a vision board.
for real.
I'm sorry when you said like, wait, hold up. You always talk about your individual one, but like, you know, it's I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm like, wow, that was like the pimp, like, yes, come through.
Like for real, like do a vision board, like have your own vision board, but get to know each other, right? Like, wow, like babe, like these are all your strengths.
Yeah.
These are all my strengths. And I'm realizing that my weaknesses, not necessarily weaknesses, but the places where I'm not the strongest, you possess. And be willing to say, teach me a little bit about that.
Right.
Because then you're breaking the codependence and saying, oh, well, he's taking care of it.
Yeah.
Well, what if the person that you're with ends up ill or ends up in a situation where they need to grow and evolve, and you could show up for them and they can show up for you, right? So now you're coexisting, you're co-creating, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I love polyamory, because it's like, in a way, like that's what I get to do with those relationships that I have. You know what I mean? They're co-creations. It's like we get to like, wow, really grow and evolve. And, you know, and it's the same concept I believe in like if I was more of a, you know, like if I was dating like a few of my exes in the past, which I love them to pieces, we're good friends, I would do things differently because I have that awareness. You know what I mean? Like instead of criticizing one of my exes because he was not communicative and I wanted him to show up a certain way, I would have actually taken the time and say, oh, wow, this is his love language. He actually paid attention to the fact that I needed a night lamp, you know, for my book, and he got me a night lamp. But that was the way he expresses love. Maybe not with flowers and roses, you know, which at that point in my life, that's what I wanted. And then, you know, now I'm kind of like, yeah, Hector, why would you want fucking roses when you could get something else? You know, that's love language. Embrace that. The fact that he got up extra early and packed his own lunch or did something, like embrace that, say thank you, like appreciate that about each other versus constantly knock each other down for what, like, you should be doing this, right? Like, well, it's not your strength. Like, how can we work on this? But again, you have to be real with yourself.
Yes.
You could be real with each other. If one is not being real with themselves, then one's getting more than the other, and that's not fair.
No, it needs to be equal. Ooh, yes. After all that, honey, that's what we need. I need. I was like, can't get it that.
Can't get it that high.
I was like, it's not. Like, it's going that way.
My scruff is going off. Okay,
girl, I love this salt and pepper though. Hey, this comes through, and it's funny. You have this little spot. I got like 3 hairs over here too. On my little chin hairs too. I was like, come through.
A wise mentor and friend told me, he's like, you really need to get your grays up. People are gonna see you as more credible. I'm like, I don't think that really matters, but I'll try.
Is that what makes you sleep at night? Okay.
Sure. A few grays out.
I love y'all both.
I love you both so much.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Talk to you later.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
And that completes today's Authentic Self episode on the Nacho's Cafe podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And don't forget, it's not about how the world sees you. It's about how you embrace your own